just a second. Bear with me 1 second, guys, and we'll be getting going on this. We're going to wait just a second, get a few more people in here. Waiting a few more minutes. Let's see. I'll look at a couple things. Okay, I hope everybody can hear me as we are looking over Tesla right now. Essentially, some of my analysis for this particular day is we have a topping pattern going on the daily. We're looking at Tesla in the form of a of a trend line going on here for the weekly that really has shown multiple times. Sorry, guys, I am sick. I'm trying to get over it. What I'm seeing is a line here, a trend line virtually on the weekly that is showing multiple denials, I think, and closes underneath. I think this is ultimately going to be the trend line slash maybe even silent killer for this run for Tesla. I talked about the top just a couple days ago. How I foresaw this being almost like a double top, or at least the some type of pullback being related to it before it went up for the 200 SMA, the daily 200 SMA, which is right here about this 225 level. Additionally, I looked at this topping pattern starting to happen. This is going to be the daily RSI. I predicted that this was going to struggle to get over the top of this and that we'd form a bearish divergence. Okay, so that is what's happening. As of right now, we're finding ourselves at resistance right here. Finding ourselves at resistance right here. So it's likely that we could find ourselves in a bounce and maybe try to make our way back up towards this moving average up in this range. But ultimately what I believe will happen is I believe that we will punch through this and find this gap down here. This is going to be something that I think that Tesla's, with today being OPEX, I do believe we need to take a look at that. Max pain for today is 185. I don't think we'll get there, but I do think that we will have a wall between 190 and 200, and close anywhere between there. I know that bulls will want to try to push this over 200, and it's very likely, based on where these are, that we may even see a close on 200. So if it gets one directional, don't be surprised, like early gets out the gate and gets maybe over 200 if the bulls start to really push over, as this is a really popular stock right now. I would anticipate this to possibly return back to 200. Okay, so don't get too crazy in regards to how much one way you are going. Um, Very low volume. Is that better? Let's see if that's better. Let me see. Let me see. Really low in volume. In the past, it's been very high, so I turned it down. Let's hopefully you guys can hear me a little bit better. Let's see. Live chat. Any live chat? Close. Okay. Sorry, I didn't see this. Is this better in sound? Sound better? Getting better. Okay. I've got it turned up. Last time I did this, it just got a lot of feedback, so hopefully you're not getting that. So essentially, what I'm saying is that we have a wall here that I would anticipate this possibly pushing over 200. If it does go over 200, I would anticipate this to likely return back to 200. Thanks for letting me know that, guys. Sorry I didn't see that at first. Um, but I would likely see this thing return back to 200 because of OPEX. There's a lot of units in these levels. We're looking at over 2 million units. It's not a tremendous amount of money, but I can tell you that people are going to try to push this to 200 or less, based on max pain. So we're looking at max pain at 185. I would anticipate this to likely either stay below 200, or if it goes over 200, to return. Guys, I'm really sorry, I'm sick. But return back to 200. Additionally, what I was talking about is a daily bearish divergence here on that rise. The last days I talked about how to find resistance. We are at a support here in regards to the RSI. We could see this bounce up, but I do ultimately think that this is the target for this head and shoulders type of flush, and that could lead us down to 185, down in this range right here. Okay, excuse me, down in this range right here. That would lead us right in this range. I do think that it is acceptable to see a little rally back, as it's not marked on the Fibonacci levels here, but it is something where we need to watch, and that's going to be this green line right here. This is a larger structure Fibonacci level right here, as we're looking at the 50 on this retracement back up to the 314 level in that gap. So we need to keep that in consideration, and say that this is absolutely going to be something where we need to monitor this going over 200, 208, because as of right now, it's had two times that it's pushed over 208. That's going to be this green rectangle right here that goes across, and it's been rejected. So it is important that we do keep an eye on this possibly, maybe make an attempt here. If it makes a lighter attempt, then I would anticipate maybe a retrial down here. I think we have some liquidity down here in this 187 area, and in this right here at this right around 190. That is likely that we could go down and try to go liquidate some of those orders. So wouldn't be surprised. We got a pre-market low at 197.25, I believe, or 196.76. I would watch for that to be a indicator that it's quite possibly going to push all the way back down, and maybe even hunt this low right here at 189.50. Those are going to be the levels here today. I think the most crucial area is going to be at 200. It's more of a psychological barrier, but as of right now, we're sitting literally on 200, and we're going into the final minutes before open. But one thing I want you to kind of take a look at is the 1 minute, or excuse me, the 1 hour RSI. It was creating that bearish divergence, and it was literally the top yesterday that I was able to identify to follow the puts. And now we are looking in regards to essentially the cycle that we have here. We're looking for potentially, if we don't bounce right here, we're looking for essentially this gap down here. We're looking for this gap down here. That would be where I would imagine that this cycle would play, and then we would likely find ourselves in some type of bounce. But as of right now, we need likely find ourselves in some type of chop. With Tesla being such a high volume, high volatility type of deal, it's likely we could see this really bounce up and maybe set itself up for another buy signal down here. Maybe like a down and then, or excuse me, one more leg down and then find its way up and try to buy. But that would be a couple hours before we really saw a strong buy signal. Um, right now, it's on a really steep trend line, and we could see this mark itself as a early buy, and then we'll just have to see. But as of right now, I'm looking at this saying, all right, these are where I think this gap wants to go down to. We'll just have to see where it ends up. But the levels that we need to focus on are going to be plus 208 for over 208. I would anticipate 2011 being a resistance, and then it trying to hunt out the high again at 217. But I do believe my mic may have been too low, so I'm going to talk about this just real briefly again. That this is what I believe is going to be a silent trend killer, and that is the weekly. And this trend line right here, as you can see, it's been held underneath this trend line multiple times on the weekly level, and it's coming down exactly where we're at, and almost our high is on that trend line. So you need to be considering this particular trend line, and when you're starting to write some of your, if you're selling calls, I'd be selling over 233 as the 200 SMA is right here, and that's going to be the analysis for today. So just a quick little recap, and then we'll go over it as the day unfolds. So I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.